I've been publishing on Amazon KDP since 2013. Back then, I was a broke yoga teacher making $3,000 a month with a young kid and mounting debt. And during those early days, I learned that your niche choice matters more than your writing skills or your budget. When I first started, I published a few nonfiction books, I hired ghostwriters, publishing them under pen names, and started to see around $600 a month coming in. That felt promising, but I knew there had to be a bigger potential somewhere. So I became obsessed with studying the bestseller lists. I noticed that fiction books were absolutely dominating the charts. Specifically, romance books were everywhere at the top. I made the decision to switch from nonfiction to romance. Within a year of that pivot, I was consistently seeing $10,000 a month in royalties. That's the power of picking the right niche. It's not about working harder, it's about working in a niche with real demand. Since then, I've coached over 15,000 students at Fiction Profits Academy. I've seen which niches actually help people build income streams and which ones leave them broke and frustrated. Today, I'm ranking 10 Amazon KDP niches so you'll know exactly which ones have real potential and which ones will waste your time and money. By the end of this video, you'll know which niches to focus on based on your goals and skill level. I'm going to be ranking these niches using 5 tiers. Gold tier is where I'll put the niches that are best for beginners. Solid tier are ones that have good potential but require more skill or patience. Risky tier is where I'll put those that can work but are easy to fail without the right approach. Avoid tier is where I'll put niches that are too saturated or difficult for most publishers to succeed in. And broke tier, these are the ones that I think will just waste your time and money. Niche number 1, the first niche is generic journals and planners. I'm talking about basic line journals, generic daily planners, and simple gratitude journals with zero differentiation. When I talk to new publishers who are struggling, this is almost always where they started. I think it's because they think these are easy to create since there's no writing required. Understandably, many assume that these are easy passive income cash cows. But what actually happens is that you're also competing against tens of thousands of identical products. So if there's nothing that differentiates yours from the others, then you're not giving Amazon's algorithm any reason to show your journal when there are 50,000 others exactly like it. And because there's lower effort involved in producing these, the low content market has become extremely saturated. The days of mass producing hundreds or thousands of low content books and expecting success are over. Each low content book must be carefully thought out and produced with a level of quality that mass producers won't have. You can't simply rely on quantity alone to generate royalties. That's why most generic journals never earn anything meaningful. I know of people who have spent months creating dozens of generic journals and they maybe made $12 total, if that. That's not a business. That's a hobby that costs money. So I would put generic journals and planners in the broke tier. Niche number 2, next up, contemporary romance. This is set in modern times with relatable scenarios. Think small town romance, workplace romance, friends to lovers, or second chance love stories. According to Words Rated romance statistics, 78.3% of romance readers consume more than one novel per month, and 44.6% read at least one novel per week. They finish a book in 1 to 2 days and immediately search for the next one. Romance generates over $1.44 billion in revenue, making it the highest earning fiction genre. That's not a niche market. That's a massive, hungry audience buying books every single day. If you're someone who enjoys relationship dynamics, emotional tension, and happy endings, this niche could be perfect for you. Even if you're not naturally a romantic person, the data-driven approach that we teach at Fiction Profits Academy makes it accessible. We teach a trope-based system that's perfect for contemporary romance. Tropes are your marketing weapons. They're the intriguing plot elements that make readers click buy. The challenge with contemporary romance is that you need to stay current with trending tropes and cover styles. Romance readers are sophisticated. They know what they want and they'll skip books that look outdated or generic. But when you nail it, the rewards are incredible. Contemporary romance has the highest series completion rates, which means once you hook a reader, they'll buy everything you publish. I would place contemporary romance in the gold tier because of its massive market demand, proven reader behavior, and accessibility quality for beginners who follow a system. To succeed in this niche, first start with proven trope combinations. Don't guess. Study the top 100 in contemporary romance on Amazon and identify which trope combinations appear most frequently. Second, nail your blurb. Inside FPA, we have a specific blurb formula that converts. Your blurb needs to establish the emotional stakes in the first 2 to 3 sentences. Third, get your cover on trend. Romance readers judge books by covers. Your cover needs to look like it belongs next to the top 100 bestsellers in your niche. Niche number 3, the next theme is professional specific prompt journals. These are targeted journals like Daily Reflection Journal for ICU nurses, or mindfulness prompts for teachers, or burnout recovery for social workers. While these can be published through KDP, be aware that some competitors use spiral binding, which creates a better lay-flat writing experience. Price your KDP version competitively and emphasize other differentiators like content quality and specificity, because the more specific you get, the less competition you face and the higher your conversion rate. Generic gratitude journal competes with 100,000 plus other books, but gratitude journals for ER nurses during night shifts, yours might be one out of only 5 books that are that specific. When someone in a specific profession searches for relief tools on Amazon, they're using their profession in the search. A nurse practitioner types journal for nurse practitioners into Amazon. And if your book shows up with that exact match, she's ready to buy. She's not just browsing. Also, these are identity-based purchases. When someone sees a product made specifically for their profession, it signals this person gets my unique struggles, which dramatically lowers resistance to purchase. I love this niche for beginners because you don't need to be an expert in that profession. You just need to research their common pain points. You can go to profession-specific Reddit communities, read the top complaints, and turn those into journal prompts. I would place profession-specific prompt journals in the gold tier because it has low competition, high conversion, and it's beginner-friendly. To succeed, first pick professions with at least 100,000 workers. You want big enough markets. Use Bureau of Labor Statistics data to verify profession size. Second, combine a profession with specific pain points, not just journal for teachers, but classroom management reflection journal for new teachers. Third, price 20 to 30% higher than generic journals. The specificity justifies premium pricing. I've seen these priced at $12.99 to $16.99 successfully. Niche number 4 is paranormal fantasy romance. This is romance with supernatural elements, so think shapeshifters and vampires in magical and alternate worlds. The readers in this niche are incredibly passionate. Paranormal romance readers have extremely high series completion rates, meaning they finish entire series, not just one book. But one thing to be aware of is that every minute your ghostwriter spends building a fantasy world is a minute they're not advancing the romance plot. In this niche, you need longer books. This means paying for 60 to 80,000 words minimum to make sure you satisfy reader expectations, which means this niche has higher upfront costs. So keep this in mind so that you can budget accordingly. The upside though is that once you build a loyal fan base in paranormal, they'll follow you through an entire series. The lifetime value of a paranormal romance reader is higher than almost any other niche. Those I've seen succeed in paranormal rarely started with it as their first niche. The ones who really crushed it with paranormal romance, often they started with contemporary romance, learned how to write compelling blurbs and choose great covers, then graduated into paranormal romance once they understood the fundamentals of the business. Which is why I would rank paranormal fantasy romance under the solid tier. It has strong potential, but I don't recommend it as your first ever niche. I strongly suggest you master the basics first before entering this niche. I'm talking about skills like understanding character development, emotional arcs and tropes, and understand how to apply these in simpler settings first and then add complexity. But if you're determined to enter this niche, I suggest that you first study the top 20 in your specific paranormal sub-niche. Free romance is different from shifter romance, so don't blend them. Second, budget $600 to $900 per book minimum. Only hire skilled writers who can world build and write romance. Third, plan for a series from day one. Standalone paranormal rarely works because readers expect 3 to 5 plus book series. Niche number 5 is Mafia romance. This is one of our recommended high heat romance sub-niches. Mafia romance lets readers safely explore danger and moral ambiguity through fiction. Escapism with an edge. So think dark, dangerous alpha males in organized crime settings paired with strong female leads. The combination of high heat, morally gray characters and forbidden love is one of the reasons why Mafia romance readers get hooked. And once you hook them, they're yours. The challenge with this niche is finding writers who can handle the darkness without going too far into gratuitous violence. There's a line between dark romance and content that violates Amazon's terms of service. Not every romance writer can pull this off. I've interviewed over 100 ghostwriters, and the ones who fail at Mafia romance try to soften the edges too much. The ones who succeed understand that readers come here specifically for the darkness, the danger, the morally gray area. If you succeed here, the reward is unmatched reader loyalty. Mafia romance readers are die-hard fans who will buy everything you release if you deliver what they're looking for. According to Amazon's romance category rankings, Mafia romance consistently places 15 to 30 books in the overall romance top 100, indicating sustained demand. I'm placing Mafia romance under the solid tier because it has huge potential, but it requires finding skilled writers and understanding the dark romance reader expectations. To succeed in this niche, first understand heat levels. Mafia romance readers expect spicy, like 4 to 5 out of 5 heat. Deliver less and they'll leave bad reviews. Second, the alpha male prototype must be protective, possessive, powerful, and flawed. Study the top 20 Mafia romance blurbs to see the pattern. Third, don't skip the darkness. Treat violence, moral ambiguity, and danger as features, not bugs. Readers expect and crave them. Niche number 6 is cozy mystery. Examples are amateur detectives solving crimes in small town settings. It's common to see plots of a bakery owner solving murders or a librarian stumbling into some kind of mystery conspiracy. These books offer readers a comforting escape. You could have the same protagonist in a new mystery for each book. Readers get attached to characters and settings, which drives series binges. Each book in your series becomes a marketing tool for the next one. Build reader loyalty once and they'll buy every book you release. If you love puzzles, logic games, or British detective shows, you'll probably enjoy this niche. The plotting is like solving a giant puzzle. And if that appeals to you, you'll be more motivated to learn the craft. Mystery plotting is harder than romance plotting. So in romance, you need emotional beats, but in mystery, you need plot logic, red herrings, and satisfying reveals. One challenge that not every fiction writer can plot mysteries. When hiring, ask for mystery-specific samples and check that clues are planted fairly and the solution makes logical sense. Because it has strong reader demand that requires understanding mystery plotting mechanics, I would put cozy mystery in the solid tier. To make this work for you, I suggest you first study the mystery structure. Books like Save the Cat Writes a Novel cover mystery plotting beats. Second, establish series settings early. Readers need to fall in love with the town, the supporting cast, and the detective's quirks. Third, lighter tone, real stakes. It's cozy, but someone still died, so balance matters. Niche number 7 is psychological thrillers. Think mind-bending suspense, unreliable narrators, complex plotting, twist endings. Thriller readers are dedicated and passionate about the genre. According to data from the Paranormal project, thriller is the 4th most popular genre among indie authors at 7%, and it's one of the top engagement genres in adult fiction, with 33% of readers engaging with thriller books. One challenge here is that psychological thrillers require extremely tight plotting. Every clue, every red herring, every twist needs to be planted carefully. One plot hole and readers will leave scathing reviews. You need skilled writers who understand thriller structure, not just suspense, but psychological complexity. These writers typically charge higher rates than romance or cozy mystery writers because the skill level required is higher. I've seen publishers succeed in psychological thrillers, but it's not a starter niche. You need to understand story structure deeply before tackling thrillers. The students who win here usually started with contemporary romance or cozy mystery, learned the fundamentals, then graduated to thrillers. The barrier to entry is higher. You need skilled, expensive writers, longer development time per book, higher editing costs to ensure plot consistency, and more complex blurb writing. But when you crack it, you can charge premium prices. Thrillers routinely sell for $4.99 to $6.99 on Amazon, compared to $2.99 to $3.99 for romance. That's why I'm placing psychological thriller in the solid tier. It has strong earning potential, but requires advanced skills and a higher investment. If you're ready to tackle this niche, first study the top 50 psychological thrillers on Amazon. Analyze their plot structures. Second, budget higher. Expect $800 to $1,200 per book minimum. Third, invest in professional editing. Plot holes kill thriller sales. Niche number 8 is historical fiction. Historical fiction are stories set in specific historical periods with authentic details and period-appropriate language. Historical fiction requires extensive research. Readers expect accuracy. If you get historical details wrong, they'll roast you in reviews. And unlike contemporary romance, where you can start writing immediately, historical fiction requires weeks of research before your writer can even begin. That's time you're paying for. Finding writers who can write historically accurate fiction and compelling stories is hard. These writers are rare and expensive because they need both historical knowledge and fiction writing skills. Historical fiction readers expect longer books, typically 70,000 to 100,000 words minimum. They want to be immersed in the time period, which means higher word counts and higher costs. If you're a history buff who gets excited about Victorian England or World War II or the American West, this niche could work for you. Your passion will help you spot inaccuracies and guide your writers better. It can work, but success requires significant research time investment, finding rare, skilled historical fiction writers, higher per book budgets, $1,000 to $1,500 minimum, and passionate, dedicated targeting of specific time period enthusiasts. This is why I'd put historical fiction in the risky tier. It's possible to succeed here, but it can be expensive and it requires expertise that most beginners don't have. However, if you have a personal passion for specific time periods and bigger budgets to support the higher costs, then it might not be that risky for you. Niche number 9, science fiction. Like fantasy, science fiction requires extensive world building. But unlike fantasy, where you can make up magic rules, science fiction readers expect scientific plausibility. Get the physics or technology wrong and you'll face harsh criticism. Many sci-fi readers are engineers, programmers, or science enthusiasts. They'll fact check your technology and science. You need ghostwriters who understand storytelling. And sci-fi readers, they expect substantial books, 80,000 to 120,000 words typically. They want complex plots, multiple storylines, and detailed world building. That means very high ghostwriting costs. Finding ghostwriters who can write compelling science fiction with accurate science is incredibly difficult. The ones who exist charge premium rates, and the audience, while passionate, is smaller than romance and more critical of mistakes. In over 10 years of coaching students, I've seen maybe 3 succeed with science fiction as their primary niche. All 3 had science fiction writing backgrounds themselves and a deep passion for the genre. For everyone else, it's been a money pit, which is why science fiction goes in the avoid tier. It's extremely difficult to execute well, it's expensive, and it has an unforgiving audience for beginners. Niche number 10, billionaire romance. Billionaire romance remains in the top 5 most read romance tropes according to romance reader data. Despite claims of saturation, readers want this fantasy repeated because it fulfills specific emotional needs. Yes, there are thousands of billionaire romance books, but if you nail your tropes, create compelling blurbs, and have covers that look professionally designed, you can still stand out. If you enjoy escapist fantasy and you don't mind reading about luxury lifestyles, this niche can be fun. But if ostentatious wealth makes you uncomfortable, you might struggle to write authentic marketing copy for these books. Inside FPA, students succeed in billionaire romance by combining it with other strong tropes. Not just billionaire romance, but billionaire plus second chance, billionaire plus enemies to lovers, billionaire plus sports hero, billionaire plus forced proximity. The combination creates freshness in a popular niche. The challenge with this niche is avoiding cliches. Readers have seen every billionaire trope combination imaginable, so you need to bring something fresh to the execution, whether that's unique character backstories or unexpected settings. Billionaire romance goes in the solid tier. It has proven to demand, but it requires strategic trope stacking to differentiate. If you want to succeed, first stack 3 to 4 tropes minimum. You want differentiation through a creative combination of powerful tropes. Second, nail the wealth fantasy. Readers want specific luxury details, private jets, penthouses, and galas. Third, create relatable main female characters. The contrast between the ordinary heroine and the billionaire hero drives the fantasy. Here's what I know after nearly 12 years in this business and coaching over 15,000 students. The ones who generate consistent income are the ones who pick the right niches, follow proven systems, and refuse to quit. But picking the right niche is only step one. You also need to know how to find winning tropes, hire great writers, work with AI, write blurbs that convert, and launch strategically. That's exactly what we teach inside Fiction Profits Academy, the complete system we've refined over a decade of helping students build publishing businesses. If you want the exact frameworks, the step-by-step processes, and the coaching support to actually build this into a real income stream, check out Fiction Profits Academy. Links in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.